So yesterday, which was Saturday, I had the memorial for my mom at the synagogue, and my brother came over, and we did like a what do you call it? We basically sponsored a meal, and both of us spoke about her, and that was for the early afternoon lunch. And then like literally 2 hours later, he had his at his synagogue, which is a much more liberal synagogue, like less than a mile from the first one. And basically, I'd gone home and I had my concealed carry permit on me. I had my firearm on me, and I walked over there. And I was, first of all, his facility, the place where he goes, is much larger than the one that I go to, the synagogue I go to. His, I think, is probably like an acre plot or something, the one that he goes to, and it has like a large building with school attached and everything, whereas the one I go to is a storefront. It's basically like if you were going to go to a barber shop, it would probably be about the same size. In any case, so I had to try a few doors to get in, and when I did find the correct entrance, there was a police cruiser that had been stationed over there to observe the comings and goings over there. And there was also one where I go to synagogue. So basically, in the Midwest, I don't know where you guys live, but there have been plots for the past few months that have been or threats against religious places of worship, specifically Jewish ones. Of course, all of you know about the Pittsburgh shooting. Probably, I'm assuming you do. So, in any case, the police cruiser actually drove up after I entered the synagogue, and the person I was there, and my brother was actually leading the services. And one of the speakers there actually came up and asked me what the hell I was doing there. And I had to explain to him, my brother goes here. I was here to visit him. And it was very interesting because technically I believe that if you do not receive permission from the I guess whoever's in charge of the place of worship here in this state, Ohio, you can't carry a firearm there. So and also because there's a school attached, I think that technically part of the building is off limits entirely for personal firearms. So if I would have been basically stopped by the police over there, I guess they could have pressed charges and had me hauled off to the pokey today. So score one for the leopard here. I was able to get away. But in any case, this is a severe threat of shooters that are coming into places of worship, Jewish places of worship. And I don't think that the police can really solve it. Forgive me if you're a police officer out there. I don't trust the police. I don't think that they can solve this problem. I think sometimes they're able to get it because some criminals are dumb. So therefore the police are able to catch them ahead of time. I don't think that you can trust them to foil a lot of these plots that are better put together. So 2 people were arrested in Toledo. One of them is synagogue related. The other one, apparently she wanted to repeat what is it? I don't even remember the name of that bar in California, but remember the Cowboy Bar over there that got shot up also close to the time of the Pittsburgh shooting. So 2 people were arrested in the Toledo area. I don't live in Toledo. I live across the North Coast. We're both Toledo and and Cleveland are on Lake Erie, so I live close to Cleveland. But this is pretty startling that this is really happening a lot in the Midwest. Also, a few years ago, there was I think it was in 2015, there was a shooting at a JCC in Kansas City area, Overton Park, which I think is on the other side of the river. Is it the Mississippi River? I think it's the Mississippi River. So it's on It's on the west side of the Mississippi River in Kansas, I think. So there was so these things they don't seem to be happening in states like New Jersey or Florida as much. They seem to be happening here in the Midwest, where you have people like the person on the left. It says a Tree of Life congregation massacre in Pittsburgh inspired Damon Joseph to plot an attack against Toledo area synagogues, federal agents said. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Lacrone wanted to commit mass murder at a Toledo bar, according to the FBI, and frequently posted material on social media that glorified the Columbine school killers and Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof. In a strange confluence for Northwest Ohio, federal prosecutors on Monday announced the arrest of 2 young people accused of planning to unleash violent massacres on members of the public in the Toledo area. Authorities said the cases of Holland resident Mr. Joseph, who's 21, and Toledo resident Miss Lacrone, 23, are not connected, but the statements from the U.S. Department of Justice officials and federal court records show both are accused of planning heinous and bloody attacks that were eventually foiled by law enforcement. I've heard people actually say that there could be a connection between them. An affidavit in Mr. Joseph's case states that he told undercover agents he was a supporter of ISIS. He devised and discussed plans to attack area synagogues and kill a rabbi, and he ultimately collected 2 AR-15 style rifles from agents before he was arrested. So if those were functional rifles and FBI agents ended up giving them to him, and the question is, how long did he have them before he was arrested? Isn't that a little interesting? In a matter of months, Damon Joseph progressed from radicalized virtual jihadist to attack planner. FBI Special Agent Jeff it should be Fortunato, I think so. I think they misspelled his name. The Toledo Blade isn't exactly like a thriving publication. I believe it's kind of like most of the establishment media. It's falling apart. A criminal complaint against Miss Lacrone outlined a pattern of bizarre online behavior in the lead-up to her arrest. She frequently posted photos and memes to social media of mass murderers, including Roof, who is awaiting the death penalty for murdering 9 people during a 2015 shooting that targeted black congregants at a Charleston, South Carolina church. Ms. Lacrone began a back-and-forth correspondence with a death row inmate and sent him books about Nazis and other materials. She visited Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, and documented her trip on social media. She met an undercover informant on the internet and subsequently told her about her plans to commit upscale mass murder at a Toledo bar. What the hell does that even mean, upscale mass murder? It should be large-scale mass murder. She also talked about blowing up a pipeline, damaging a livestock farm, and setting the livestock free and linking up with other anarchists to form a team. So I was on the stream with Halsey English, that'll be Halsey News Network, and Dustin Gold earlier, last week it would be now. And they have this theory that these people might be kind of climate change fanatics, or at least she would be. And I don't necessarily agree with those guys on everything. I just happen to be friendly with, especially Dustin, I don't really know that well, but Halsey I happen to be friendly with. And, I don't agree with a lot of his beliefs, but, he's always been nice to me. So they seem to believe that she might be some sort of wacko connected to Tom Steyer. Okay, so I'll keep an open mind about that. I don't know much about that to actually substantiate it, but I'm not going to say that for sure there's any connection between the two yet. This case demonstrates terrorism comes in many guises, and we will remain vigilant to protect all Americans. Beginning in May, Mr. Joseph's posts on social media caught the attention of the FBI, according to court records. Of several photos of knives and guns he had posted. One had been originally distributed by ISIS's military media wing. He had also posted a photo of a ring that displayed the words found on the ISIS flag. In September, an undercover agent began trading messages with Mr. Joseph, during which Mr. Joseph expressed interest in becoming a recruiter for ISIS and sent the agent several videos in support of terrorism and encouraging others to join ISIS, the affidavit shows. On October 30th, 3 days after the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, Mr. Joseph told the agent that he fantasized about doing something similar in Toledo, the affidavit shows. And then he said, I admire what the guy did with the shooting, actually. I can see myself carrying out this type of operation. He then sent details of his plan to carry out an attack on at least one Toledo synagogue to an undercover agent on December 2nd. In the days that followed, he made notes of what types of weapon and ammunition he would need for the attack, when to commit it, to kill as many people as possible, and how to escape if necessary, shoot it out with police. Specifically, officials said he wanted to kill a rabbi. He expected the undercover agent he was messaging to be his partner in carrying out the attack, court records indicate. That might explain why there were two AR-15s. Mr. Joseph continued planning through November and into December. On Friday evening, he met an undercover agent and took possession of two AR-15 rifles that he believed the agent purchased for the attack. He was then arrested, so maybe they arrested him on the spot. He was charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison. During an arraignment Monday afternoon in U.S. District Court, Northern District of Ohio, Mr. Joseph waived a preliminary hearing and detention hearing, meaning he will be detained while his case is pending. His case will be brought to a grand jury. His attorney, Neil McElroy, declined to comment. Let's see here. So there's a lot of details about this. In a statement, the Jewish Federation of Greater Toledo said the foundation was told by FBI agents that there is no imminent danger. Only a little more than 2 months ago, the greatest attack upon Jews in this country took place in Pittsburgh at the Tree of Life Synagogue. Anti-Semitism and hate of all kinds has no place in our society. Keeping people safe is our highest priority. All threats to our community are taken very seriously, and we continue to coordinate with law enforcement diligently, blah, blah, blah. Representatives of the Islamic Center of Greater Toledo and the Islamic Society of Northwest Ohio said on Monday that they were not familiar with Mr. Joseph. I wonder if he actually ever... That's a good question. How much did he try to socialize with, some of the actual... Because it appears he converted through the Islamic State. So maybe he never actually made any contact with some of the local Muslims. We don't even know. It's certainly very disheartening to hear of such an individual in Toledo. Dr. S. Zahir Hassan, a spokesman for the Islamic Society of Northwest Ohio, said, "We are very proud to boast of Toledo as a compassionate and respectful community. This kind of behavior or thought is totally foreign to Toledo. Our relationship with the Jewish community is excellent and respectful." So I don't know what the hell, if there's any connection to anyone there, but I'll say this, okay? There's no more of this trust the police bullshit because the fact is that if somebody just decides on their own whim to go out and buy a weapon and then shoot up your place of worship or whatever, and you're depending on the police to stop them, what I mean, the fact is that this was a dumb criminal. He talked to somebody online, purchased a weapon from that person online. He would have probably been convicted on other arms charges anyway, because that's basically buying from a straw man. So you're not talking about the smartest criminal. That somebody could just buy a weapon legally and do it. And those of you that are going to complain and say, well, this is just proof that you need less guns on the street, it doesn't matter, because at the moment they're there. And they're not going anywhere. Those weapons that people own that are in private hands are not going to go anywhere for the moment. People have this cockamamie dream that we're going to, like Michael Bloomberg says, we're going to eliminate violent crime because we're going to end private firearm ownership. It's not going to happen in the near future successfully. They could try. They've actually... There's another story. It's this is from New Jersey. So proof that New Jersey is bound for failure. Here we go. So this is from AmmoLand, and it says 1 million plus New Jersey gun owners defy state law, refuse to turn over banned magazines. Banned gun. So not a single. They banned high capacity magazines. Nobody turned theirs in. So what are they supposed to do? Come and take them? Which fulfills the meme, the Molan Labe meme. What are they supposed to do? Go and take the magazines from people? So then you're gonna have some of these people that own the magazines. Obviously, will probably, they're not gonna fight over a magazine. They're not gonna. But there probably are a few that would resist, and you would have some dead cops. Okay, there are probably a few that would. There was already a person in I think Maryland, because of a red flag law, which is something slightly different. But the red flag law caused the death of one gun owner in Maryland. Okay, Tom Binns has done a video on that. So, and I may link it in the description. So let's cut with this bullshit about the police protecting law-abiding citizens from anything. It's bullshit. The police are there to stay alive and to basically screw you over for tickets and stuff like that. Do they help people? Yeah, I've had to call the police. I've been locked out of my car before. I've had to call. I don't really call the police for anything else. People here pretty much keep to themselves. But the fact is that people get shot all the time in this city. We have not very good. We have some pretty hard gun laws in the city here, like not where I live, but in the city of Cleveland, and people get shot like literally all the time. Nobody knows who does it. People get killed all the time without guns here. We've had like serial killers every single year. There's like a new serial killer. It's basically, in Cleveland, there's like 2 new things every year: a starting quarterback for the Browns, and a new serial killer found in the ghetto somewhere. And it's sad. It's awful. And yeah, gun laws aren't going to solve that. So those of you that want your place of worship, it's not just synagogues too, by the way, because remember, there was the Sutherland Springs church shooting. Okay, they targeted a church. So, and that was in Texas. So let's quit with this bullshit about, we'll trust the police to solve the issue. The police can't be everywhere. Somebody has to. By the way, they're having them patrol some of these congregations, but we don't know how long they can be paid for that, because the police have to be compensated in order to guard a specific place. Okay, they can't just dedicate resources to a list of sites and then neglect the rest of the city, right? You guys understand that? So basically, the local Jewish Federation over here has to pay off-duty cops to patrol when they're off duty, obviously. So they get a little more cash. So eventually you're going to have, this is going to run up a lot of costs. And just like after Pittsburgh, I believe it took only about a week, and they removed the police cruisers as if they really, in my opinion, they don't necessarily help. I think sometimes, in fact, they're just sitting there. Nothing against them. I have nothing against the people standing guard. I'm just saying that I don't believe that it's an effective and long-term solution to have just police officers there literally all the time. I think people should just, sack up, go out, buy one of these weapons, get trained, and that's it. So once again, almost got, could have been I was going to be arrested today, but it didn't happen. Nice try. Next time, guys. And as usual, fuck the state of New Jersey. Please like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Please also subscribe to me on BitChute and on CocoScope. Also, you can subscribe to my other channel, Razor Ray Live Wounds, and all my social media is below. The Patreon thing, I'm not sure if you guys are still on it, but I've heard Subscribestar is actually being screwed now. So we'll see if there's even an alternative, but whatever. Have a good night, guys, and I'll talk to you later.